Buddy's park bench. Buddy was a very handsome dog who lived with his person Jack in Paris, France. They lived in a lovely apartment in the city where they had a cozy front room where Jack was always watching cowboy movies. Buddy would get startled when the bad guys started shooting at the good guys, but Jack reassured him that all was well. Jack would make the most delicious meals for them. He used to be a chef, and he never considered that Buddy was just a dog, and fed him the same meals he ate himself. Prime ribs, lobster, pork chops, hamburgers. Buddy never knew what treats he would have that day, but he always knew they would be delicious. Buddy and Jack slept in the same big, bumpy, lumpy, comfy bed with a soft blanket for each of them. The most favorite part of Buddy's life was his daily walks with Jack down to their special park bench. The park was beautiful and had a pond where ducks and geese lived. There were many pigeons in the park that Jack liked to feed, and he always brought them bits of bread. So every day after breakfast, no matter the weather, off they'd go. Jack always let Buddy off his leash because he knew he would stay close by. Then, after he fed his pigeons, Jack would lean back and have a little nap while Buddy visited his dog friends and children that came by the bench. When Jack woke up, off they'd go back home again. Well, one very, very sad day, when Jack was very, very old, he did not wake up from his nap. No matter how he licked his face, Buddy could not wake Jack up, so he started to howl. Finally, people began to notice the noise and came to investigate. Someone called an ambulance, and they came and took Jack to the hospital. No one noticed or paid any attention to Buddy, and they all went away and left him sitting next to his bench, all alone. Buddy sat there and waited. He waited for a long time, and then he waited some more. Eventually, it became dark. Buddy knew he had to stay at their park bench until Jack came to get him. Finally, Buddy became very tired and crawled under the bench and went to sleep. The next day, and several days after that, were much the same. Buddy crawled out from under the bench and sat waiting for Jack. He knew Jack would never forget him, so he waited and waited. When he became thirsty, he trotted over to the pond and had a drink. When he was hungry, the pigeons shared their bread with him. Everything remained much the same until one day a young man came into the park and sat right on Buddy's bench. Buddy wasn't sure what to think about that, but strangely enough, the young man looked very familiar. He started to talk. "Hello, I'm here at my grandfather's favorite park bench. He used to write to me in America when I was growing up, and he told me all about this bench and about his dog Buddy, who came here with him. My grandfather's name is Jean-Pierre, and he is the famous chef here in Paris. He always made his work sound so creative and exciting that I decided that I, Jean-Pierre III, would also be a chef. Of course, everyone called me Jack in America," he chuckled. "Grandfather is in the hospital, and he sent me to find Buddy. Are you Buddy?" Buddy wagged his tail so hard he almost fell over. "I'm going to bring you home. You see, I will be living and working here in Paris now, so I can take care of you and my grandfather. He told me you like cowboy movies. It just so happens I do too." So off they went to Jack and Buddy's apartment. Buddy had a delicious pork chop dinner. Turns out young Jack was as good a chef as his grandfather. Then Buddy climbed into the big, bumpy, lumpy, comfy bed with his own soft blanket. He slept for a long time. Young Jack took the other bedroom. Soon after, Buddy's Jack came home from the hospital. All three lived happily together and went to their park bench every morning after breakfast, no matter the weather. They let Buddy off his leash so he could visit his dog friends and the children that came by the bench. The two Jacks fed the pigeons and then leaned back and had their naps. When they woke up, off they'd go back home again.